Assalamu alaikum, dear viewers. Well, welcome to another episode of the program Thaqalayn Talk, presented to you by Noor Online Islamic Center. I'm Atta, the host of this program. Throughout this holy month of Ramadan, we'll present fruitful discussions regarding the holy month of Ramadan, the Holy Quran, Ahlul Bayt, and fasting in general. With me for tonight's discussion, we have Brother Nazari as the guest speaker. Assalamu alaikum, brother. Welcome to the show.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. I would like to say salam to your dear audience and to you as well.
Thank you. Thank you very much, brother, for accepting our invitation, Brother Mahmoud or Brother Nazari. I'm alright with both of them. Maybe with the first name, Brother Mahmoud, is more comfortable. Okay, the holy month of Ramadan is placed in the lives of the Muslims and how it can pave the way for seeking knowledge and spiritual guidance. Let's start with the very core question: how the holy month of Ramadan is going to pave the way for us to reach and gain a kind of spiritual knowledge, brother?
Okay, thank you. This is a very important topic tonight. I think if we can gain one great point here for our guidance, especially to gain knowledge throughout this nights here, I think if we can gain just one point here would be enough for us, and that is how to gain ma'rifah.
Yes.
And how to attain this spiritual guidance throughout these nights. So I would like to start by the importance and the greatness of this month. How great this month is. Month of Ramadan is full of divine grace. This is very important to pay attention to this month, that this month is special in terms of understanding. The ability of humans, the ability of Muslims during this month to understand the realities. So this helps a lot. Why? Because we as Muslims, we in this month try to obey Allah by fasting, by praying, by different acts of worship. And this helps us, and this paves the way for us to understand better. This is the special atmosphere of this month.
So you mean by gaining ma'rifah is understanding better, isn't it?
Of course.
Through which we have, we can say, a means, or it's better to say, a way in our hand through the holy month of Ramadan to reach proximity to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
Exactly this. We try to increase the level of our understanding.
That's right. Okay.
This increasing in this month is one of the important things that Muslims need to get to.
Mm-hmm.
So, one question here is that, who was the person, who was the first person who could get to the peak of this understanding?
Mm-hmm.
Who was in the history of Islam?
Yes.
So the first person who reached the peak of this understanding was Prophet Muhammad. And this is why you can see as the result of this understanding, this level of understanding, Quran has revealed immediately to the heart of Prophet Muhammad.
Very good.
Why? Because he has reached this level of understanding. So we as Muslims, we are trying to follow the behavior, the seerah, the lifestyle of Prophet Muhammad. So we need to move toward this understanding, this perfection.
Right? And without reaching such a ma'rifah, you mean, we can say, we are still Muslims, but our Islam and our belief system, our faith in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, in the system and ideology of Islam, will be somehow remain incomplete, isn't it?
I wanted to say it later, but let me just point out this right here. We have different level of understanding, or in other terms, you can say different levels of gaining knowledge, gaining ma'rifah. The first level is the maximum. This is specifically for awliyaullah. This is for imams. This is for Prophet Muhammad. And those special companions, those special believers that they try to understand like Prophet Muhammad. They try the whole life, in every moment of their lifetime, they try to gain this knowledge, this
Mhm.
ma'rifah, like urafa,
Yes.
like great ulama.
Like Arafah.
Yeah, exactly.
Supplication of Imam al-Hussein the day of Arafah show, I think one of the best examples how to talk to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, talk with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, how you are facing a superpower which is very much exalted. I mean, as you said, that's right. The best way in order to reach Marifah is reading about the Marifah of such people.
Okay, so this was the first level,
Mm-hmm.
the maximum.
Very good.
We have the other one, is the minimum.
Mm-hmm.
Minimum level of benefiting from worship, understanding the reality behind this worship. This is for just believers.
Okay.
The one who says the shahada,
Mm-hmm.
the one who is called a Muslim.
Mm-hmm.
So he or she has the minimum level of understanding, the minimum level of beneficial from worship.
That's right.
But we have another level which is in between.
Mm-hmm.
This is intermediate level.
Mm-hmm.
And this is for those who, of course, they do not have this ability to reach Prophet Muhammad.
Yes.
They do not have this ability to understand as much as Imam understands. But they do their best to understand. You know, after every prayer, after every act of worship, they
Yes.
try to understand what is behind this. What is the ma'rifah I can gain
Mhm.
by this worship?
Very good.
This is to answer
Yes.
your question. To continue, I would like to mention the purpose behind fasting.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, it has been said a lot, what is the purpose behind fasting. But I want to emphasize on two particular qualities that is especially for fasting, right?
Yes.
The first one is refraining and withholding. So, refraining is something which is hidden, okay? This is something that is inward. So, in this term, hypocrisy cannot be happened, or it's really, really few, right? Riyā in this case, because this is something that in the darkness of night you have to get up
Mm-hmm.
and you have to eat, and your niyyah is in the night. So, this is something hidden, especially for fasting. The second quality of fasting is that this is something against the enemy of Allah, which we mean shaitan. Okay? But here, we do not mean exactly the shaitan. Okay? We mean those worldly desires that man have. Okay? So when you fast, you're against your dunya desires. You try to be against these desires. What happens when you are against these desires? It helps you to be a better abd, to obey better.
Very good.
Yeah. And then this obedience, could be more easier for you.
Mm-hmm.
It helps you to get to the level of worshipping as a true believer.
And I think this is the time to differentiate between the ilm and marifah. You know, if you want to be considered as the best servant of Allah, as the abd of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it does not necessarily mean that in terms of science you are very much high. It could be, for example, an illiterate Muslim, but in terms of marifah, he is very much higher than so many, we can say, literate people who are scientists, who are scholars in different fields of studies. But I think the holy month of Ramadan helps the people in order to have a better understanding about their world around. One of the criteria may be the differentiation between the ilm that you have and the ma'rifah that you might have at the end of this month, isn't it?
Exactly. Let me explain here and clarify. It's very important, and I would like to ask audience to pay attention to this part. It would be really important. And what is that? The point is that in our life, or when we want to study a science, a field of study, in this term, first of all, we gain the knowledge or data or science,
Okay.
right?
Yes.
First of all, we need to study and then we can apply it. Okay? So in this case, science precedes action, right?
Yes.
What does it mean? For example, You study physics, then you can apply it, right? Or you study chemistry, and then you can perform it in chemical activities, right? Or you study any field of study, then you can apply it in that case that you have studied. Okay, so knowledge, right?
Yes.
Then is the action. But in terms of religion or spirituality,
Yes.
this is different, right? In terms of spirituality, it's very important to pay
Yes.
attention. I would like
Very
to
good.
emphasize on that. In this case, action is preceded by knowledge. What does it mean? It means that you do something and then you gain knowledge. So, do you pray just to pray? Or do you fast just to fast? Or do we recite Quran and then at the end of this month we would say, Alhamdulillah, we have recited the whole Quran. Is this what we have to do? Or no, there is some secret behind it.
That's right.
Okay? So, you pray, then it should get to ma'rifah. And this is a kind of circle. It's not just one way. So you pray and then you gain ma'rifah and then it returns to you. Another act of worshipping, then you gain more knowledge, more ma'rifah.
Yes.
And the whole life, it should be, it's a kind of ongoing process in your whole life. Of course, we emphasize on the importance that we find in this month,
That's right.
and we say that, okay, the atmosphere in this month is very, very okay for us. We are very close to gain the ma'rifah, to attain this special guidance.
That's
right?
Okay.
But it's an ongoing process that you need, even after this month, you need to try to understand after every prayer.
Brother Mahmoud, I think it has two important sides. One of them is very much linked to our recognition, our understanding and knowledge about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and our religious life, the spiritual life. But the other side is very much related to ourself and our soul. I want to refer to the famous hadith which says that Man arafa nafsahu faqad arafa rabbahu. I mean, whoever has this type of self-knowledge for sure is going to have knowledge about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I mean, so as you said, this ma'rifah, which is repeated every day during the holy month of Ramadan, is going to be saved as a data bank in your soul.
Exactly.
So every day you are going to update it, every day you are going to have a true recognition, understanding, and new horizons are open to you about self-knowledge. Through this true self-knowledge about yourself and your world around, which is a muwahhid tawhidi lifestyle, you are going to find qurbatan ilallah, or proximity to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Am I right or not?
Yes, exactly. We have this verse in Quran that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that مَا خَلَقْتُ الْإِنسَ وَالْجِنَّ إِلَّا لِيَعْبُدُونَ.
That's right.
When you talk about abd,
Yes.
when arafa nafsa,
Yes.
this is talking about a true abd. Okay? So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that I have created jinn and ins for worship. To worship who? Whom? Allah.
Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
Right?
Okay.
So here, in the first glance, you would think that, okay, this is just to worship. But if you refer to the interpretations, you would find out something very special. And it's a kind of surprise. Interpreters, they interpret إِلَّا لِيَعْبُدُونَ to إِلَّا لِيَعْرَفُونَ. It means that to worship here means that to know whom? To know Allah. So the whole worship, it's not just to follow rules and rituals, but this is to call for a deeper understanding of this ritual that I'm doing. Okay?
Very good. Yeah, that's all right. Brother Mahmoud, what is the main goal of reaching Ma'rifah? I mean, when we are going to reach type of Ma'rifah, for sure we want to grow, spiritually speaking, in our lives. I mean, and And through this growth and through this spiritual development that we experience in every day and nights of the holy month of Ramadan, through different means, I mean, fasting, recitation of the Holy Quran, doing our salat on time, having our fasting gatherings with the family and friends in masjid, and attending different congregations. All in all, this is establishing a kind of system, which I call it is the system of guidance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, or it's better to call it Hidayah of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Am I right that the true knowledge about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, true marifah about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and about yourself is going to build and establish a kind of guidance system in Islam or not?
Of course it is. Of course it is. Because, as I mentioned before, all these activities, all these acts of worship is to get to some level.
Very good.
Right?
Yes.
We are not, just some believers and we have to do something and then that is over, that we are done. No. Islam does not ask believers to do something or to refrain from doing something just like that without any reason. There should be something behind that. We are doing that, as a kind of start to gain something. So this something that we are talking about is that guidance that you have mentioned, right?
That's right.
So we have this very important verse in Quran, according Shahr Ramadan, the month of Ramadan, that شهر رمضان الذي أنزل فيه القرآن هدى للناس وبينات من الهدى والفرقان. Now exactly, right after Shahr Ramadan, it says that أنزل فيه القرآن, and then what is it? هدى للناس, right?
So
and then
might be guided.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then at the end, this is also a good point in this verse. At the end of this verse, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that وَلَعَلَّكُمْ تَشْكُرُونَ, right? وَلَعَلَّكُمْ تَشْكُرُونَ. It means that worshipping is the matter of gratitude, right?
Yes.
Why shall I be thankful to God, to Allah? Because of this guidance.
That's right.
Because if I was alone here in this dunya with my dunya desires, what could I do without this guidance, without the seerah of Ahlul Bayt, without this blessed month, without the holy book,
Yes.
the true guidance?
Yes.
When we talk about the true guidance, we ask this question: what is the true guidance? The true guidance is what comes from Allah. So how can I gain this? I can find it out in the verses of Quran.
That's all right. Okay. And we know that when we talk about this Hudan al-Nas, which is guiding the people or guidance for the people, usually it is through two important channels. One of them, which is called Hidayah Takwini, this is the general Hidayah which is done by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It is for all the creatures of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The other one, which is also important, is Hidayah Tashri'. And when we talk about the Hidayah Tashri', which comes from Sharia law, on that time the role of Prophet Muhammad, infallible Imams, the Holy Quran, and Saum and Salat are important now. So if we want to be guided through the holy month of Ramadan, for sure, we need something beyond Hidayat al-Takwini, which is the general one, general umbrella term for all the creatures around the world, which is a Hidayat al-Am. It is a general guidance for all the creatures and all the people who are guided through a super almighty power automatically based on their fitrah. Now, I think in this case, Hidayat al-Tashri' plays a very important role. And the holy month of Ramadan, I think, is going to strengthen that type of Hidayah for us, isn't it?
Yeah. According to what we have studied in Islam, and according to the seerah of Ahlul Bayt, we can say that this Hidayah, the general one, is for everyone. But let me tell you one example. It's like we are all in one garden, full of flowers, full of beauties, a very nice view, full of rivers, fresh waters.
Yes.
But when we do not want to taste it, when we do not want to taste the water, when we do not want to smell flowers, when we do not want to look at the sights, and when we close our eyes, okay, this is the problem inside us. You know, the potential is there. This is hidayah takwini.
Yes.
The potential is there.
Yes.
You just need to open your eyes. You just need to smell. You just need to taste. If you cannot taste, if you cannot go upper than that, go to hidayah tashri'iyya, it's because of you. You have closed your eyes. Okay? And then why we think that this hidayah in the month of Ramadan is more than the other opportunities, the other months of the year. Ulama and some urafa, they have a very, very nice example. I really like this example, and that is they liken the months of the year to the sons of Hazrat Yaqub, Prophet Yaqub.
Yes.
And then, you know that the number of the sons were 12. And Hazrat Yusuf, Prophet Joseph, was the chosen by Allah. And for the sake of Hazrat Yusuf, Allah has forgiven the other sons.
Okay.
Right?
Because of the mistakes.
Yes, exactly.
So,
So,
that's right.
it is said that the month of Ramadan, the blessed month, is exactly like Hazrat Yusuf,
Yes.
and the other months of the year are like the other sons. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because of the month of Ramadan, forgives the whole mistakes that people might have done in the other months. And now they are asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, they're worshipping, they fast, and they try to get to the line of this guidance, this spatial guidance.
That's right. So at the end of the holy month of Ramadan, as you said, gaining ma'rifah and knowledge about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, about ourselves. I mean, where are we exactly in this picture of the life as a Muslim, and what are we doing? Self-accounting and we can say self-care, self-cultivation, as they call it. Ramadan is the start of the year of self-cultivation, okay? So, self-study about all our spiritual details, I mean spiritual warm-ups, spiritual practices in our daily life becomes very much important. At the same time, as you said, we want to taste the true hidayah after this holy month of Ramadan, and who better than the Ahlul Bayt to refer to? Brother Mahmoud, if agree, let's get to some of the questions which are sent to us live and Zoom. You are watching, dear viewers, Thaqalayn talks coming to you from Noor Online Islamic Center. And for more information on this program, you can refer to our website, thaqalayn-course.com. Okay, now the question is sent from Brother Ali, who says, is the capacity to pursue divine knowledge equal between men and women? Can both genders achieve higher levels of spiritual understanding or not?
You know, in terms of gaining ma'rifah, we're talking about human being. Can you find anyone in this world that claims in terms of reason, in terms of aql, I don't have it. I have some problem in terms of reason. Allah didn't give me aql. Who says that?
Except the handicaps or some people. Who,
you know, normal people
yes,
never say that.
Problems by birth.
You know, people might say that Allah didn't give me money. Allah didn't give me enough IQ. Allah didn't give me. Of course, this is not correct, but they claim it, right? But no one claims that Allah didn't give me aql. Everyone believes that he or she it has the best level of apple, right?
Okay.
No problem.
Or
So
at least some levels of app. That's
Yeah,
right. Okay.
right? So, I want to say that there is no difference, in this guidance and this hidayah, in this understanding, there is no difference between man and woman.
That's all right. And we have seen so many examples of the ladies in Islam who had reached higher levels of, as you said, ma'rifah, faqaha. I mean, we got faqihas among the ladies of Islam. So many of the rawats of hadith, the narrators of hadith during the history of Islam, have been ladies without a perfect lady with true ma'rifah about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala inside the house and home, nurturing the children, taking care of the affairs of the house. No good, faithful man will be nurtured and born into a Muslim believing society. That's all right.
If it's okay, because I want to also, because I don't know how many minutes do we have, I have some strategies and tips
Very good.
to gain ma'rifah
Very good.
and spiritual guidance. I would like to mention them here because it could help. At the end of this talk, audience would have something in hand.
So these are practical guidelines, as you said.
Exactly.
That's right. Okay.
The first one is Quran recitation, right? So we might recite Quran before Ramadan and after Ramadan, but the point is that we can increase this recitation. By increasing, I do not mean to repeat different verses, to recite the whole Quran 1 time, 2 times, more or less. I mean to focus on the verses. The first part would be to read verses with translation. And if you read it with translation, try to understand the interpretation. Refer to different interpretations. And also try to think on the meaning of this verse. What Allah has said this verse to me. Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
Contemplation.
Yes.
So, لَيْسَ لِلْإِنسَانِ إِلَّا مَا سَعَى. What does it mean? Think on it. Have you thought on this verse? لَيْسَ لِلْإِنسَانِ. Even Allah didn't say that لَيْسَ لِلْمُؤْمِنِ. لَيْسَ لِلْإِنسَانِ. Human being. Right?
Okay.
This is according to the efforts that people do. So, if you are a believer, Allah would help you much more than the others. Of course, we believe in that. But generally, if you strive, if you try, if you do your best, Allah would help. So, have we ever thought on the meaning of this, the interpretation? So, I mean, by focusing on Quranic verse like this. The second one is to acquire knowledge and spiritual guidance through supplications. We have different kinds of supplications for the month of Ramadan.
Yes.
Okay?
You mean adiyas and du'as?
Exactly,
Okay.
exactly. So, have you just recited these supplications? Or we have tried to understand the meaning? We try to understand the secrets behind these supplications. And we say, Ya Aliyu, Ya Azim, why? So we need to think on that. These are the guidance, these are the lines that help you to, attain more, to achieve more. The other one is lifestyle or seerah of Prophet and Imams. Okay? First step is to read the history of Prophet Muhammad, the history of Imams. But it's not enough. We need to go forward to know the reasons behind their behavior, their actions.
Yes.
How did they behave with the neighbors? How did they act with difficulties? How did they help the needies? These are very important.
Yes.
So if we just concentrate on these behaviors that Prophet Muhammad and Imams they had,
Yes.
then we can change our life.
Very good.
You know, for example, in praying, we have this story that Imam Hussein and Imam Hassan, when Prophet Muhammad was praying, they went on back of Prophet Muhammad.
Yes.
So now when people see this situation, they're okay with that.
Mm-hmm.
But is it just this act of Prophet Muhammad? Is it just one behavior of Prophet Muhammad, or we have many others?
Mm-hmm.
So we need to know more than what we know right now.
That's right.
The other one is charity.
Mm-hmm. Sadaqah.
Charity or sadaqah or zakat.
Zakat, that's right.
Right? This is also important in this month.
Yes. And whenever in the Holy Quran we are talking about establishing salat, at the same time we have payment and establishing of zakat. That's
Exactly.
right.
And then at the end of this month,
Mm-hmm.
you have zakat, you have to pay zakat.
Yes.
Why?
Zakat al-Fitr.
So it means that in this month, of course, other months also, you need to help
Mm-hmm.
the needy is there, the less fortunate people.
Mm-hmm.
But in this month specifically, you need to help poor people. This is not just to pay money, of course.
Mm-hmm.
It could be
Yes.
to help someone in some very, very worldly
Mm-hmm.
activities.
Yes.
You know, it could be like invite them to your house. It could be like smiling even.
Mm-hmm.
It could be like being a good friend, being a good neighbor. If your neighbor has some problems, you know, as a needy, you can just imagine this neighbor is a kind of needy, and then I want to help him or her.
Okay. That's
The
right.
other one is seeking knowledge through lectures. It's like this one. I hope that this is,
Mhm.
we can gain something from this talk. But anyhow, because we have mentioned the
Yes.
verses of Quran and something from
Yes.
Prophet Muhammad and Imams, of course, it could be, a knowledgeable talk. But anyhow, these lectures that, alhamdulillah, through Ramadan,
Yes.
you can find it much more than the other.
The members and the majalis all around
Exactly.
the world, that's right, of Islam, in the mosque and masajid, that's right.
Exactly.
They're
So
really
this
great.
is the other one. And the last one, of course, not least, is spiritual guidance
Mhm.
from mentors or scholars.
Scholars, that's right.
You know, in the past, people had it much more than today,
Mhm.
Unfortunately.
Mhm.
In the past, you could have a mentor in your life, spiritual mentor.
Yes.
You could go and have some consultation
Yes.
from that person, and that would help a lot.
Especially on akhlaq
Exactly.
and ethics and morality, a tutor, or better say, a mentor and a teacher is needed in the lives of the people, especially today, in today's world. Most of the parents are busy with their work, so they can at least select some of the teachers and mentors for spiritual growth of the children and the family. That's all right.
Yeah, I want to say that in the world of today, we are left alone.
Mhm.
Of course, we are living together,
Yes.
but the problem is that we do not have someone to guide us.
Yes.
Okay, if you are in a village, if you're somewhere that you cannot find a mentor, of course, you can find someone as a trusted one.
Mhm.
Someone who leads the prayer in the mosque.
Yes.
Someone in your school that you can find out, okay, this is a nice teacher. Even you can go to him or go to her and
Yes.
ask her or him for, a kind of mentoring or
Yes.
guidance.
Yes.
This is, I think, something that we need to pay more attention, and inshallah, in this blessed month,
Yes.
we can follow these strategies
Inshallah.
and gain, inshallah, more ma'rifah at the end of this month.
Inshallah, the majalis and the gatherings and the congregations in masajid they must be more active than before, and the holy month of Ramadan. The people, the ulama, the scholars, the asatid, the professors are over there in the masajid to answer questions of the people related to religion and ethics, akhlaq, holy Quran and fasting. This is really a good opportunity and chance during the holy month of Ramadan to benefit the most from. I think we got an audio question. Let's listen to that and then we'll get back to our discussion.
Assalamu alaikum, do you receive my voice?
Assalamu alaikum, brother. Yes.
Thank you for having me. Thank you, Dr. Nazari, by the way, for bringing up this really layered topic. I do have a question, though. I mean, if seeking knowledge is the ultimate purpose of our religious a'mal and deeds, so why in the Holy Quran we have the verse, as you mentioned before, أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم وما خلقت الجن والإنس إلا ليعبدون. I feel there's a contradiction here. How does this verse goes along with seeking knowledge and ma'rifah as a final goal? Because, again, in my humble opinion here, this verse is saying people shall worship Allah, but first people should know who is Allah to worship Him, right? But you said some interpreters suggest the opposite. Can you explain, your view more in this?
Okay.
And how can they worship something without knowing it? Thank you.
Thank you, brother, for your question.
Okay, thank you. That was a very nice question. That how can we worship something that we don't know? This was a question from Imam Ali, Nahj al-Balagha. A very, very nice book. I recommend brothers and sisters to read this book with translation. Very, very nice phrases that could be a great and knowledgeable guidance, spiritual guidance.
Yes.
Even this book itself can be a mentor.
Yes.
The mentor shouldn't be someone somewhere. We have this, alhamdulillah, this book, and we can refer
Yes.
to the phrases.
Nahj al-Balagha compiled by Sayyid al-Razi.
Exactly.
That's right. Okay.
And then the point that I want to say that was the question that was asked from Imam Ali. Do you know God? Do you know Allah? And then what Imam Ali answered? He says, if I don't know Allah, I don't worship the things that I don't know. Of course, it's not exactly the sentence, but I want to say, Imam Ali says that, of course I know this Allah that I worship. But this was for Imam Ali. Is it the same for us? I want to say yes and no. Why yes? Yes means that, in your own level, as I mentioned, we have 3 levels: minimum, maximum, and in between is intermediate. You are now in minimum level. You understand something from Allah. It's like the question that was asked from a person who didn't have any knowledge, who didn't study somewhere, who didn't study in any school. She was asked that, is there any creator for this world? She stopped doing something that she was involved with. And then she said that, you see that, I stopped, and it's not moving. I'm the one that caused this move. Okay? So the same is for this world. This lady didn't go to a school, but she could understand there should be a creator for this world. So in this level, we all know something. So we have this ma'rifah, this very little amount of ma'rifah. Okay? But if you want to gain, to achieve to that level that is very close to Prophet, very close to Imam, very close to ulama, you need to gain ma'rifah after each and every act that you do.
That's right.
After every pray, you need to try to gain ma'rifah. You need to do your best. This is very important. Maybe my capacity could be lower than your capacity, right? But it never matters. This is not something that we can, okay, you say that my capacity is much more than the other one, so if I achieve this level, it's enough. No. According to your own capacity that is given by Allah, according to the situation that you are in, okay, you need to do the best thing that you can, right? The best level of your effort. That's what we are asked to do.
That's right.
Right? So my capacity would be, for example, 20 out of 100. Yours would be, for example, 90 out of 100. Okay? So I have to fulfill this 20, and you have to fulfill your 90.
That's right.
right?
But this sense of commitment and struggle in order to reach perfection in our spiritual growth and development is something that can be read throughout the holy month of Ramadan. This is the best chance for us. Inshallah, God willing, at the end of this month, our ma'rifah about ourselves, about the world around, about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and the Ahlul Bayt and the Ma'sumin is more than before.
Inshallah.
And through that ma'rifah, we can find ourselves in the true guidance by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, by the hidayah of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Prophet Muhammad and the Ahlul Bayt, inshallah.
Inshallah.
Under the shadow of the Ahlul Bayt, Prophet Muhammad, the Holy Quran. Thank you very much, Brother Mahmoud Nazari, for a nice elaboration regarding this topic, seeking knowledge and spiritual guidance, where to find true guidance. It was very kind of you, fruitful discussion, brother. And thank you very much, dear viewers, for watching Thaqalayn Talks.